Hey, what's up? Steven again. I'm back, YouTube fam. Today is February 7th, 2024. I just wanted to do a video to do kind of an update on where my life is at right now. Uh, Showing off the new look because I haven't taken too many pictures. Yeah, I got this crazy beard going on. Trying to grow my hair out, and I'll take any opinions or suggestions about that because the thing is, I'd like to grow it out like more. Like when I was younger, I used to be able to do this cool flippy thing, and my hair was still long and beautiful. But I don't know if my hair even does that anymore, or if it could, if I just like maintained it, like took it to a salon, get a little snip, some trimming to cut off the split ends. I don't know what the answer is for that. But if my hair doesn't do what it used to and there's nothing I can do about it, then I guess I gotta, just find a nice, shorter looking haircut to go with for my style. But yeah, this past whole winter and especially during the holidays was just super hectic. And I'm not even seeing my therapist like I usually do because I don't want to just talk about you know, stuff that I feel like is going to be hard to go through anyway, and just keep talking about it when I know I'm going to have to, take actions and take time taking actions to, figure out a way through it. But basically, one of the reasons I'm doing this update today also is because someone mentioned to me about where I'm at with church, and I realized I haven't done a video on that in a long time. So I actually found a church, hooray! And it's here in Burlington, a little east of me, and I've enjoyed it. It's actually like a small little startup church, a Baptist church, and I think the pastor is a great guy. We've had some good talks, good rapport, and I'm excited to see where things could go from here. And I feel like even if I do move back to Florida, which I'm still planning to do later in 2024. I know I said later in 2023 last time, but now it's 2024. That I feel like if I were to find just a smaller church, that might be more of like my niche or my sweet spot because I feel like it's easier to find people to connect to when they're looking for more people to, grow and to add to the church. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But what else? What else? Um, Mom and Steve, my stepdad, hi. Hope y'all are doing well. Uh, we got to catch up sometime. But let's see. Hmm. I mean, I guess that was really the main thing. What else did I have in mind? Hmm. I guess lately something that I've been reflecting on because I was in a YouTube comment conversation under like a kind of like Christian apologetics sciencey video, and somebody confronted me with this idea that um, the secularists, the people who are on the science side and not religious and are just looking for answers through scientific means, versus the people on the religious side, that they inherently have two different biases or two different agendas. That one is looking to defend a particular belief that has been taught and accepted in a certain environment, which is the religious community, and one is just you know I guess in his opinion more sincerely seeking out truth by way of what can be observed and proven. And that kind of like, I mean, I feel like he was calling, intellectual honesty into question from people on the religious side of things, which, kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say triggered me because I just didn't think it was true, but it kind of like made me feel like, okay, I don't think this guy, well, let's just say he hasn't met me and he hasn't talked to me. And and I'd like to kind of, maybe share with him where I'm coming from, maybe understand where he's coming from. And so one of the questions I asked him, I think it was something along the lines of, can a person have personal experiences leading them to form a certain conclusion? Experiences which, when shared with others, by word of mouth, don't necessarily are not as convincing to others as they are the individual sharing the experiences. Can that person still be intellectually honest? And, he conceded. He said, yeah, I think you can, but you got to also not weigh your experiences as being, heavier or more important than what science can prove. And yeah, sure, I can, go along with that. So I was reflecting on this a little more today, and I was thinking about, for some reason it popped in my head, that verse, I don't know where in the Gospels it is exactly, but it's where, I think Jesus was talking to, just the Jewish community around him, and he was confronting the fact that they were saying, like, if you are the Messiah, show us a sign. And he said something like, oh, these people, and he describes them in some way, and are always asking for a sign, but no sign will be given to you except the sign of Jonah. And he was referring to the, him rising from the dead in 3 days, just as Jonah rose from the fish, whale, whatever you want to call it, in 3 days after he was spat out. So, and I thought about that, and I also remember there was a time where I was looking at apologetics videos and I was like, is there really a strong argument for secularists to consider as far as the resurrection of Jesus? And what I got was kind of not really, and maybe things that used to be considered strong arguments by apologists, may have gotten debunked since then as far as their provability of Jesus' resurrection. So I think that can be set aside as more of a faith issue rather than a, science-based or provable issue. But what it made me think of is, like, when people said signs back then, you don't see the word, at least I don't see the word proof a whole lot in the Bible. Maybe it shows up here and there. I'm not saying it doesn't, but when I hear the word signs used in the New Testament, I think that if that were to be translated into today's culture, that would be just like people today asking for proof, except, with just maybe slightly different connotation. But it's basically the same thing, that people want a sign, of God's existence, God's goodness, the truth about God, religion, spirituality, the universe, all that. And they want to see signs of that or observe signs of that in some way. I think that I'm no different. I would just say that what makes me different from other people like that is, again, personal experiences that I believe are hard to translate to people who are, in more of a secular worldview and culture. And maybe a little bit different from some conservative Christians in the sense that I don't think all of the faith experience or the spiritual journey has to necessarily be, has to necessarily consist of all these things you believe or things that you think that just can't be proven. What I mean by that is, and I've talked about this in other videos where I've had some experiences on the charismatic side where, someone prophesied for me or I prophesied for them. And there were things that were just too far-fetched, too coincidental, where it felt like someone was using a superpower of some kind. And, from a fiction comic or something. And it just, I want to learn how that could even possibly make sense to someone from the secular sphere. and if there is a scientific explanation, and here's where I'm coming from. If Christianity and all its supposed signs and wonders can be simply disproven by science, at the end of the day, I mean, I think I'm going to be okay with that. Like I'm at peace with the idea of being wrong. Why? Because I still am kind of biased towards the belief that whatever the truth is, it's going to set me free. Whether that's free from following certain, rules or patterns of living or customs that don't really matter, or whether it's the truth of, I'm going to be in this really small minority of people, and their culture and beliefs, and be ostracized and mocked and scorned by the rest of the world, and that I just have to live with that. I'm fine with whichever is the truth. I mean, if it's debunking all of Christianity through science, then yeah, there's going to be a huge adjustment period, a huge life realignment, probably a bit of depression. But, I'm willing to go through that if that's actually what leads me to the truth. Having said that, what I said to this guy in the comments on YouTube was basically, I'm open to being like a subject of study, as far as like what I've done with stuff with prophetic and supposedly listening for God's voice. I mean, it could be something else, but I'd like to see if secular science can explain that. So if somebody's peeking on my channel that isn't actually a Christian, and they think, either they or someone they know might be up for that challenge and have the means, the resources, the interest to find out, basically when I'm talking about like prophesying, what I mean is like, I'm sitting here listening for something from God, not audibly like voices or hallucinations, nothing like that, but like just thoughts that come to me that seem to, well, let's just put it this way, thoughts that I believe are coming from God and have some kind of benefit for that other person, whether it's strengthening them, encouraging, comforting. There's a Bible verse that talks about that, but basically has some benefit to somebody else. And sometimes I do it for myself too. Well, when I've done that, or when that's been done for me, there have been weird coincidences, like, two people saying the same thing from like, over 2,000 miles away, and who barely know each other, actually don't know each other at all. And other people also not knowing each other, but saying something similar about me. Like two people prophesied for me that something about bulldog-like tenacity. And what's crazy is the word order was different, but those two words, bulldog and tenacious, and linking them to me, were the same in both prophecies that they said for me. So, and they didn't know each other, and they were two different churches, two different contexts entirely. So, and then I've like prophesied for other people, and since I started doing that with strangers, and I haven't done it a lot. I've only done it with like 3 people since 2017. And I'm 3 for 3 right now with them coming back to me and saying, that sounds a lot like this. And it was basically just like confirmation, like, this is in line with what this person said, or this thing that happened. And it's like, well, okay, I'm open to hearing, how science can explain this, because I think it deserves an explanation if I'm wrong and if I'm believing in a lie. So, that's where I'm at. And I basically, like, I wonder what's going to happen in the future. Like, if I'm going to decide that I want to get more bold and, like, maybe do some street evangelism or prophesying. I know that can get like really off the rails, but I hope that if I do, dip my toe into something like that, that it'll actually, go well and have some positive experiences to it. So pray for me for that. Also, my car, I'm not driving. I'm actually sitting in my dad's car right now. It needs a part to it that there's like a ongoing recall going on, that where like there's a part, it's the oil pump drive belt tensioner that broke in my car, and it's a known recall for my car, and they haven't found a fix for it yet, so it's basically just sitting in the Ford dealership lot, waiting for them to come up with a part that's going to work to replace it with. But thankfully, my dad's been gracious to let me borrow his car for food deliveries, and now sometime today we're going to go to State Farm and get me insured for his car to do Uber and Lyft and drive passengers again, because that's when I have the most fun working. I've also considered getting either a part-time or full-time job. I just don't really know how all that's going to work out yet. Yeah, and just pray for, finances to be good, my car to get better, and my health to continue improving, and continuing to improve relationships at my church and with my dad. Also, something else kind of important is I'm choosing to go through the process of getting my names removed from the LDS records, that is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. If I didn't mention this before, I grew up Mormon. I was baptized in the Mormon church. I wasn't really active or like involved in that culture, but I was considered a member. And I just decided recently I wanted to get my name removed. I felt like I needed to kind of set myself apart from that, and, bring that time of my life into closure. And so lately, there have been these sister missionaries, these, two young ladies that have reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like to get together with you, share a message. I don't know if the timing is coincidental with that, or if it's just they're trying to reach out to anybody generally. And also, my dad says that it would be, formal procedure for me to talk to the bishop of their ward. That's kind of like a pastor, and just go through like a brief like counseling session before I seal the deal on the getting my name removed. Just to understand kind of what the costs are of that. And I've had thoughts about it, and I was like, yeah, I think I've got something to talk about. I won't get into that now, but if I do have any conversations around that subject with people in person, then I will probably come back on YouTube and recap it. But that's all for me, as far as I know. Oh, and I'm so sorry. One more thing I think I'll mention. My dad ended up having to go to the emergency room, I think 3 to 4 weeks ago. And it was because of pulmonary embolisms. So we're keeping an eye on that. He seems to be doing okay. We just want to make sure that, he's getting the right treatment, the right care, and taking the right steps for his own health, so that he's not gonna, start falling into a pattern of, worse and worse problems going forward. But he seems to be doing okay. He's gotten off of caffeinated drinks, so that's a huge step up for him, to be honest, because he's been drinking caffeinated drinks a pretty long time. But other than that, we're okay. I'm okay. Living in Burlington has been okay. And, whoever's watching this and wanted to get the update on my life, that's what's been going on. And I look forward to reconnecting with people I haven't talked to much lately. And so hope you all have a great day.